What's up guys, welcome back to another episode of GROWLAB. Today we're going to be looking at week 1 of growth for our FastBuds auto grow, as well as setting up our fully climate controlled grow tent so you have the perfect growing environment. Stay tuned. We just finished week 1 with these FastBuds auto seeds. So far there's not much to report other than all the seeds have sprouted. There is one Girl Scout cookies that's about a week behind that I had to restart from a new seed. I think this is because I planted the seed too early when it didn't have a long enough taproot. In the future I'm going to wait until the seed has about an inch root before I plant it into the soil medium. In this grow we have 2 Girl Scout cookies, 1 6-shooter and 1 California Snow, all by FastBuds. So for our grow setup, we're using a 5-foot by 5-foot Ohuhu grow tent. These are super cheap on Amazon, and from what I've found so far, they're really great quality for the price. All the zippers work really smoothly, all the support braces are steel, and there's also tons of holes for ventilation or any other accessories you might want to add. All the stuff we're going to put into this tent, including the tent, is linked in the description below. So if you want to buy, please use the link because that's what supports this channel, and then hopefully we can keep making some great content. So right now all we have is an extension cord and a couple lights in the tent. By the end we're going to have a fully automated heater, humidifier, dehumidifier, and air filtration. All we're going to have to do with this tent setup is water our plants. So first we're going to be installing our carbon filter. So what you want to do is open up one of your ceiling vents and feed through your ventilation ducting. Our setup's in a garage, so we're just blowing the vented air right outside of the tent. If you were in a house or somewhere else, you could hook the duct in right up to a window vent or right into the house's ventilation system. Use the string to tighten up around the ducting so that the seal stays airtight. Now you just want to make sure you have a sealing bar on both sides of the ventilation shaft. So I'm going to show you guys a little trick on how to fasten the carbon filter to the ceiling without having to actually attach the filter to the steel post itself. This way is a lot easier and a lot more structurally stable. So we're just going to take a 2x4 and put it under the mount of the carbon filter. We're just going to loosely screw in one side of the filter to the 2x4 so that there's about 1 inch of space still left on the screw, and this will make it a lot easier to install around our ceiling posts. Now with the fan output facing the ducting, we're just going to clamp the top bars between the 2x4 and the fan mount. Once the fan's in place, just use another screw on the other side to tighten up the clamp. You might have to tighten up the first screw you put in too. Be sure not to go too tight so that you don't crimp the steel. Now you just want to take a hose clamp to fasten the duct into the output of the fan. Next, we're going to use the 2 provided straps and wrap them around the top bars, and then tighten them up to the rough height of where the carbon filter is going to sit. Now all we're going to do is feed the carbon filter through the straps, and then tighten up the straps so that the filter can be fit onto the intake of the fan. Take a piece of duct tape just to seal the joint between the carbon filter and the fan. I'm just using some garden flex tie to tie all the electrical cables onto the steel frame and out of the way. Our filter is set up to run for a half hour every 2 hours. We find this works well so that the heater and humidifier don't have to constantly be conditioning new air, and keeps the temperature and humidity levels more constant. Since our setup is in a garage, we're really victim to the outdoor air temperature. Right now we have about a 20-degree difference between the inside of the tent and the outside of the tent. Next, we're going to add in a smart space heater. This heater is only about $50 and is awesome because it has controllable temperature, so it'll turn on and off as the temperature rises and falls to keep the temperature within a few degrees of its setting. This is a must-have for almost any grow tent, especially one that's in a garage. Next, we're just going to add in a couple shelves that we can put our humidifier on. This is also a smart humidifier, meaning that you can set a desired humidity level and it'll automatically turn on and off to keep itself close to that setting. It also has a really big tank, and I only have to fill this thing up about every 3 or 4 days. For propagation and early vegetation, we have our humidity setting at about 65%, and you'll really notice how fast your plants start to grow once you get into this humidity level. Next, we're just going to add in a standard oscillating fan to keep the air moving. Be sure not to point the fan directly on the plants, especially when they're young. We always point ours up just to keep the air within the tent moving around. Next, we're adding in a dehumidifier. Since our setup's in a garage, it can get really humid in the summer months. We have the dehumidifier and the humidifier set about 5% apart so that neither are running at the same time. Lastly, we're going to be installing our lights. We're going to use these adjustable straps to hang them from the ceiling because they're just really easy to use. Now it's time to hang the lights. The lights we're using are 600 watt LEDs from Mars Hydro. These lights are a couple years old now, so I updated the link in the description to some lights I would buy now instead. They're just a little bit newer, a little bit cheaper, and a little bit better. But the lights we're using here will work fine for pretty much any grow setup. So if you already have similar LED lights to this, don't bother buying new ones. Now you can raise or lower the lights to the height you want them at. Once you're done that, I always just wrap up the string and tie it out of the way using that garden tie cord again. Now we're going to hang a second light using the exact same method. Now we just have to plug our lights into the timer. We're running autos here, so to start we're going to have it on 19 hours on and 5 hours off, but you can run any light setup you want. That's it for all the systems. The only other thing we're going to add is a thermohygrometer. This measures the temperature and humidity, plus gives us the highs and lows over the last 24 hours, so it's easy to tell if something went wrong while you weren't around. And that's it for the tent. The only thing left to do is move in your plants. For early veg, our settings are about 73 to 74 degrees Fahrenheit and 65% humidity. Also, make sure your lights are at least a foot away from the top of your plants. We usually do about 16 inches. Alright guys, so that's our full grow setup, complete with full climate control. From start to finish, this build only cost us about $700 Canadian, and it's going to drastically improve the amount and the quality of the bud we're growing. I suspect off these 4 plants we can probably get close to £1, but we'll have to wait and find out. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments and I'll try to get back to everybody. Also, if you want to follow this grow or anything else we're doing, subscribe because I'm going to be trying to upload weekly. Until next time, thanks for watching another episode of GROWLAB.